Now, this morning, we welcome Terry Wig, Chief Professional Officer from the United Way of the Titusville Region. Also, Will Price, Executive Director of the United Way of Venango County. Pennsylvania launched the United Way of Pennsylvania launched a statewide project called Alice, and they're here to talk about that this morning. Good morning, guys. Good to see you this morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Bright and early.
Yeah, you guys are doing well.
Yeah.
We rarely have guests this early.
So. I'm sure.
Thank you. In fact, we'll put you on the list as...
oh, gosh. We're going to be the 7 o'clockers forever.
Nice.
Okay.
Not forever.
Not forever. Okay.
Especially when you have such a big news story that was just released this week. Terry, you want to kind of jump in and set this up for us?
Yeah. For years, United Way has worked in our local communities and we make sure that everything is done through community impact, and we try to help people that are in need in our communities. We, as United Way professionals, know that a lot of these people aren't necessarily below the poverty level, but there was really no way to quantify and qualify that other area of folks that need help. United Way of Pennsylvania, in all their wisdom, took on the ALICE project. ALICE means, it's an acronym, and it means Asset Limited, Income Constrained, Employed. These are families that are still struggling, but they can't quite get into a sustained where they have enough income to cover everyday basic needs. Okay, which is food, clothing, shelter, transportation, healthcare, childcare, those types of things. So this report really gives us a great look right down to the municipality level of who Alice is in our communities, and then how we can better serve them.
Well, based off of what Terry just said, it kind of expands too into some other things, right? Like the technology, basic cables, cell phones. I mean, these are things that, years ago you probably could have said, well, those are just extra things to have. But really today, you need the internet. You need a phone.
Yeah, it really shines light on the budget. Like you said, 10 years ago, TV, cell phones weren't a priority. They were a necessity. And now they are a priority. With the smartphones that we have today and the technology, we really needed to look at that whole new budget in the way that people are living their lives. And now we can see a survival budget, but we can see a sustainability budget that for every person in every community across the state of Pennsylvania and in our communities here locally.
So did you say these are folks who think that they've got a solid job, but they're coming back, and at the end of the day they're going, how is it that we're behind when...
Right. Well, they're hardworking families. They are above the poverty level, and these are working folks. There's at least one full-time employed person in the home. And so it's just what the report shows, and what we kind of know is, people are working, wages are increasing, but they're not keeping up with inflation, not even close to coming up with, and the report verifies that also. So these families are going to continue to struggle. And that's why, it's our job to figure out how can we help these families into that sustainability budget and beyond so they can, have a strong future.
So, Will, how long has this process taken to gather all this information?
It's taken the United Way of Pennsylvania and all the partners about 2 years to really look at the data and really combine this report together. And we'll do a refresh in 2 years with more current data, and we will keep reproducing this report so we have the best data for United Ways and our partners in every community to really impact those people's lives.
So when all of this came out and you guys started to look at all this information that was coming in, did anything surprise you?
I think we knew.
Or did it just verify that?
It actually gave us the data to prove what we felt was already happening in our communities. Okay. That's how my feeling.
Yeah. Our board and our United Way launched 4 years ago our bold goal to reduce the number of people struggling to meet their health, education, and income needs by 3,000 residents before 2025. So we really took that next step of looking at those individuals, which we call Alice now. But this really shines light on what we kind of knew back then, but it just really puts it down on paper and really is going to push us to that next.
And this whole initiative, Terry, you were kind of explaining yesterday where a lot of people are Alice.
Yeah, you'd be surprised. It's the folks that work wait on you at retail locations. It's the nursing assistants and the medical support folks. It's people that work in restaurants. People that all kinds of professions. A matter of fact, in our area of the top 20 jobs, only 3 of them put families above that Alice level.
Really?
Yes. So that's pretty amazing.
There's a lot of information, and it's kind of divided up by counties. So we have
Right.
Crawford, Venango. Do you want to look at some of these numbers here? Where do you want to start?
Where do you want to start? We can go with Crawford if Will's not ready. You're waiting.
Will's
ready?
always
good.
ready.
Will's always ready. Okay.
Always ready. So this
All right.
is the household survival budget, right?
Right.
Alice household survival budget. This is numbers from 2017, or what's
This
Okay.
this is from 2017. Like we said, it was just released. So in 2 years it'll be redone, and I believe they'll also have census data to use at that time, which will be an added boost.
census or senseless?
Depends on the day.
Gotcha. So kind of go through this, and what are we looking at?
Okay, well, first of all, the survival budget is very basic, pared down, what you just need to survive. And you can see it's broken out by family household makeup, okay? And if you look at housing, housing is based on 40th percentile of HUD. That's how they come up with the figures for that, what it would cost in our area. It includes utilities. It does not include any phone, cable, those kind of things. But it will get your city services, your electric, your gas, those kind of things. Childcare, which for us, I think Will and I both really jumped out at us as being very high. For somebody in our communities, our county, to be able to afford, even though it's very important so people can work. That's based on registered home daycare, okay, and rates. The food budget is based on FDA Thrifty Menu Plan, so you can see it's very low. It's all based on things that you can cook in your own home. There is no money to eat out, okay, in that budget at all. So everything you buy the raw ingredients and it has to be done at home. Transportation is also high based on, I know Crawford County is higher than the state average because we're a rural area. So to get around, you have to maintain a car. So, and there just really isn't the public transportation to get people to and from work and all that kind of stuff.
So most people, or not most, but there's a lot of people driving out of town to work.
Yes, but even here, if you say work in a lumber yard in Spartansburg, you've got to drive from Titusville to Spartansburg.
Right.
Those kind of things. That's a big deal. Healthcare covers what is not covered by their insurance that they may have. It covers premiums, any unpaid expenses by the insurance are in there. And then the technology is the most inexpensive cell phone plan for the area with the most inexpensive cell phone, one for each adult in the home. And as we talk, that's in technology, that's your link to looking for a job, for calling your doctor, for all those kind of things. And there is no internet or cable TV listed in that at all. So families, that's not included in that survival budget. And then there's a miscellaneous that is for cost overruns, and that's like cleaning supplies, toiletries, work clothes, those kind of things. That's it. That's the budget.
Wow.
Period.
Now, do you want to keep going with Crawford, or do you want to compare that now with Venango?
Well, all the budgets are the same. That part's the same.
Okay, that's the same.
Yep.
Okay, but if you look at the figures, here it's for a family with 2 adults, an infant, and a preschooler. Their family income needs to be $55,000 a year just to survive. So they need to come up with $27.53 an hour, basically. Whether that's one worker or 2. And a lot of jobs around here start at $11 an hour if you're lucky. And if you get $15 an hour, that gets you to $30,000 a year. So, there's a long way to go for these families.
And they really have no idea. This actually puts something in front of them that they can see, oh my gosh.
They know they're struggling. They don't know why.
Right. Or
They
how
don't,
far
they
off
don't
they
see
are.
the numbers. Yeah.
And
Go ahead.
But they're one crisis away from going back into poverty.
Yeah,
So
total disaster.
if they need new tires or their inspections or their refrigerator broke in their house, they're unable to save. So
There's no savings built
they're
in.
back into a crisis or back into poverty because they fall back into not able to use their survival budget.
And we've heard these stories too, where somebody gets sick. Maybe somebody's diagnosed with cancer, and they're still working because they can't take a
Exactly.
break. They gotta keep bringing money in.
Yeah, and it's we're I'm not shocked at the number of Alice in our counties. I mean, in Crawford County, 38% of people in Crawford County live below that Alice threshold. That's 38% of households. In Titusville, it's 54%.
And you said Meadville was 52?
Meadville is 52%. And it's what's really nice is on uwp.org/Alice. Anybody can go to that and look at the information. There's an interactive map they can put over their county, and they can click on it, and then a municipality map comes up. So they can tell by their township or whatever exactly what their data looks like.
So that's the map, right?
That's the map.
They can go there and...
Like if you go up and, so you can go to Venango. Forest, it doesn't have a United Way. So Will and I work with Forest County some. So their numbers are very high.
There's Venango.
There's Venango.
Yeah. It really shines light on the different areas in our communities and really makes us a whole community with numbers.
Yeah, that's incredible. You're watching the Morning Drill on Stream Television in Armstrong and listening to it on the Allegheny News Talk Sports Network. So, Will, I guess in Venango County, you get this information. What's next?
Well, we're going to take the information and really dive into putting it towards our bold goal of reducing those people struggling to meet their health, education, and income. So we're going to look at programming and hopefully working with Titusville Region to come up with new programming that will really focus on the Alice individuals. At our United Way, we really took those guidelines off of poverty level individuals. So now we're moving that needle of every person living the best life they can. So we're going to use it through our community impact and our grants of coming up with programs that will really impact lives for the long term, not just now. Yeah. We want them to be able to survive years to come with a steady life.
Yeah.
So, Terry, if you're seeing this and you understand, you know what, okay, this makes sense. Yeah, we are struggling, but I think I have a good job, or my spouse has a good job. I can't quit. I can't. What do you do to get over that?
It's tough. It's tough. That's where the United Way and our community partners, whether it be government, corporate partners, our agencies, each other, we are going to be looking at, Will and I, like he said, collective impact, some things that we can look at that we have in common in our areas and that easily we can work together with. The two major things that we know are throwing people out of whack is the cost of childcare and the cost of transportation. So, we talked about sitting down and working on plans to try to, for example, if somebody gets a job at UPMC down at Seneca, okay, how are we going to get them there? So maybe we can work transportation across county lines or something. So we can work that way. There are models out there where United Ways have done that with counties around them. So that's something we want to sit down and talk about.
And we've heard this before too, just talking about companies having a hard time finding workers, somebody who can, pass a drug test, reading and writing skills. But we've heard businesses kind of step out of the norms, and if they really want somebody, they'll. And this happened, I think, in Oil City, where we were told this, where the person didn't have transportation, so the business said, "We will pick you up, but we want you to work here."
Yeah, and what you find is a lot of times Alice maybe won't show up for work, so they're considered not reliable, and so they lose their job. Well, the thing is, Alice may have a sick child at home. Alice may not have transportation that day. So those are the type of things that we need to help with the barriers. And we also would like to be able to get to a point where we can talk to our corporations, our large employers, and say, give them the data. How can we help you have a better workforce? What can we give to you? Right now, like Will talked about is bold goal. Get it, I'll get it. Spit it out. It's early. I need some more Java. Our United Way just finished with our data collection for our needs assessment, and this came out at a perfect time. A lot of the information is matching, which is great. So we are going to start working on our own bold goals in our community based on that information. Now that'll happen over the next 6 to 8 months to a year. It takes a long time to go through all the things that we need to go through to get that done.
So, if you're a family member and you're sitting back and you're watching this or hearing this, should people go to the site and they can play around it? In fact, you were showing me the site yesterday, Terry. Mm-hmm. It's really interactive. There's videos you can watch. This was kind of neat. Alice the Experience.
Yes.
Kind of talk about that real quick.
Do you want to do it?
Yeah. Alice Experience it walks you through an everyday or a monthly activity, a game.
We don't call it a game.
It's an experience of an individual that lives in Alice. So it will actually break down the budget with housing, childcare, food, transportation, technologies, emergencies, and you are trying to...
It's not a game.
I know. It's not a game. It's an experience.
And you have timers. So every month... your rent's due, so you have to click and pay your rent, and you can only have, I believe, 2
passes on emergencies.
So if you click on the guy in the yellow, which is, I believe, Jackson or Brian Jackson, he makes $1,000 a month. I believe it is. You click on continue, and it actually walks through. What he has to pay, scenarios, and if you miss so many, you
Yep. Oh, there's a birthday party, so what are you going to do?
And you have to pick. Sometimes during your Alice budget or your survival budget, it's not all about paying your bills. It's having that family time with your family that you may want to go bowling or go to the birthday party, and it may cost you $40, but when you pay $40 for a birthday party or to go bowling, it may come down to food or gas in your car to get to work. So
because
it's
the survival budget doesn't have any of that stuff in it. There is no extra money.
Extra money in those budgets.
So that's where you're getting the we can maybe hold off and pay this later.
Exactly. And another thing with Alice is they also it's easy to get a credit card these days, but they find they get in a situation where all of a sudden, if they want to try to move forward in their lives, they don't have access to debt anymore, like to buy a car, to buy a home, those types of things. So that's another piece of it on top of the whole thing. It's very difficult sometimes to move forward. So
you mentioned the cost of living is increasing, and we work with car dealerships all the time, and you get these new models out with the technology in them. It's getting harder and harder for folks to...
everything is.
Yeah.
I think in inflation over the 10-year period of the study, it went up 33%. However, wages only went up 26%. Even though, like I said, people are working and they feel like they're getting more money, they're getting farther behind.
Wow. And the study verifies that.
Yeah.
So is this something we can continue to have this conversation? And
You bet.
You bet.
Love
7
to have you guys
o'clock.
back.
7 o'clock in the morning. We can be here.
Well, thank you so much. And again, what's the website people can go to get this information? Will, you want to?
It's
uwp.org/Atlas.
And I promised I wasn't going to ask, but page 32, there was a paragraph. Actually, I joke because this document was like 120 pages.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
There's
We
a lot.
both read the whole report, and so we're working on how to pull out the data to best serve our area.
Wow, incredible. Thanks for all the work you guys are doing in your counties, and we appreciate it.
Thank
Please
you.
come back. Thank
Yes.
you.